So I wanted to make this video to share with you guys, what I experienced while on the keto diet. I started June 3rd, June 3rd, like about 2 or 3 days after I finished running a marathon, and now I think it's like July 31st. So literally, it's exactly 2 months after. I went through the whole keto flu. That only lasted a day. I think some people say it lasts like a week for them, but I think training for a marathon, it kind of helped me get over the keto flu much faster. And the next couple days after that, I went through this phase of where I had way too much energy. I think I described it to my wife as drinking a lot of coffee and being super alert and having a lot of energy without the jitteriness. So all that energy kind of messed with my sleep as well. I couldn't sleep at night, and I think I had an average of 3 or 4 hours of sleep for, I don't know, 4 days, 4 nights. And but the odd thing is that when you do wake up and go to work on 3 or 4 hours of sleep, you still kind of feel alert, and you're actually very productive just because of the high energy. And then as that subsided, I think that's what I would call keto adapted. I think I went into keto adaptation, but I didn't, I felt normal again. I didn't feel like I was wired or anything like that. And I didn't get any, I still didn't get any of the ups and downs of energy throughout the day, like on a normal diet. But I didn't get that feeling. I didn't have that feeling where I'm wired, I'm on caffeine and whatnot, like I did a few days after the keto food. But anyways, around that time, I've experienced something very different around that, being keto adapted. I've suffered from folliculitis for, I think, almost a little over 15 years now, and it's never really gone away. I've seen a lot of dermatologists and doctors and whatnot. They'd give you they'd give me some shampoo, medicated shampoo, and some ointment that I'm supposed to put on my head or whatever. And I go on that for I don't know, 6 months, and I realize it's not really helping. It's not. It kind of, when you put on the ointment, it kind of helps with the itchiness, while the ointment is still not, still wet or whatever. So you have to reapply or whatever. But I notice it doesn't really prevent, the folliculitis from coming on. So I kind of stopped doing that, and then I'd go a few years of growing out my hair. I do things I try to get a haircut every 3 weeks, but I would check my scalp to see how much folliculitis I have, and if it's too much, then I would kind of skip it and wait for the next day where the folliculitis actually goes down a little bit. It never usually goes away, but if it gets to the point where it's I'm not too embarrassed to go get a haircut, I would go get a haircut. I did that for a couple of years, and then I decided to go see another doctor. I think I went to go see 2 or 3 doctors, but yeah, they always prescribed a shampoo and some type of ointment. All of them were different shampoos and different ointments, but it didn't really help. I also went on YouTube and did some search, and there's a guy who recommended this. He's sitting in a car. He's a pretty big guy. He's sitting in a car, and he swears by this Chinese ointment called, I don't know, I think it's Folliculitis or whatever, but it's this ointment in a little bottle. You're supposed to use Q-tip, and it's kind of yellowish brown. It smells like Chinese herbs or whatever, but it stings like hell when you put it on, and you know, since it stings, it kind of like helps with the itchiness, but and I think it kind of helps with the inflammation a little bit, but it doesn't totally disappear. It kind of just lessen in size, and since it stings, you don't feel it doesn't itch, and you don't feel like scratching it. I don't know, but with that as well, it doesn't really prevent the folliculitis from coming on, from coming back, and you know, literally over a little over 15 years, I've always had folliculitis, and there's not a day that actually I would go without folliculitis. And but about a week and a half into my keto diet, I noticed that you know, I was in the shower after in the morning, getting ready for work, and I was shampooing my hair, and I was massaging my scalp, and I noticed, I was like, wait a minute, I don't feel any folliculitis, and I'm checking all over the place. I'm like, wait, I don't feel any. And I get out of the shower, tell my wife, and she's like, huh, so how long has it been going? And I'm like, I know for sure last week I had, you know, some, and when I say some, it's like, I don't know, like between 6 and 10 all over my scalp. So it's you know, it sometimes it gets pretty bad. It gets to like, you know, it doesn't get to the point where it's like all over, but you know, between 6 and I say 15 or whatever. But I told my wife the week before, I know for sure I had some, because I needed to go get a haircut, and you know, usually before I go get a haircut, I always check to see how many I have, and I noticed they were there the previous week, but now they're gone. And then, you know, I started checking every day, and now it's been like over a month and a half, and hasn't came back. The only time it did come back was a few weeks ago. I had a night. We had this social after work where we met up at a local brewery down the street from my workplace, and I had maybe 2 beers, and I wasn't buzzed, but I hung around, drank some water, and made sure I could drive, and then I drove to meet up with my wife and kids at my friend's house. I guess all our friends were getting together over there, and they're barbecuing and whatnot. So I had another beer over there, and maybe a shot of Jameson. And then I think 2 or 3 hours later, I started feeling like bad, and I'm like sitting there like, I just feel like laying down on the couch. I don't feel tired, but it's like my motivation is like gone, and my brain is getting really foggy again. And I was like, this seems vaguely familiar, and I'm like, oh, it seems like I'm going through like the keto flu again, and you know, it's getting progressively worse. And so I tell my wife, it's like, maybe we should go home. It's already past, you know, the kids' bedtime. So, you know, the reason why I wanted to go home was because it was getting worse. I was getting more lethargic, you know, not really tired, but like no motivation. Like I could get up, but you know, it's like all I wanted to do was just sit on the couch. And I felt like if I stayed, I might not have the motivation to drive home. So we came home, and I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I had this major headache, and it felt like, you know, I was going through the keto flu again, and that's why I wanted to come home. So I slept through the night, and then woke up the next morning, and I felt my scalp, and then I felt the folliculitis. So I decided to hit the punching bag to make sure I get all the alcohol out of my system and burn out whatever I had in my system and get back into ketosis. So I worked out on the punching bag for 30 minutes, and I haven't had folliculitis ever since. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video and share with you guys. For anyone who's out there that is suffering through folliculitis, I understand how embarrassing it is. Just, you know, going to get a haircut is super embarrassing. And then, you know, if you're in the at work and you have a short haircut or whatever, and you're kind of like thinking self-conscious, like, oh, you know, like kind of scratching them or whatever, and it's probably noticeable. Do they notice them and whatnot? And if you do scratch them, they kind of cause like all these like dandruff and whatnot. And yeah, so it's like a vicious cycle. And if anyone's like me, where like you go to a doctor and it doesn't really help, and all the stuff that you tried doesn't help, I just want to let you guys know that, you know, the keto diet, although I didn't intend it to go on the keto diet for my folliculitis, it did help with my folliculitis. That said, I do plan on transitioning out of the keto diet at the end of the month, and I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that the folliculitis doesn't return. So I do plan on transitioning back to a normal diet right before my marathon training, and then after I run the marathon, I do plan on going on the keto diet again for 2 or 3 months, and then repeat again, and then, you know, transition out right before I start my marathon training, run the marathon, and then go back on the keto diet. So that's my plan right now, is that I would, you know, follow that plan, and hopefully I get a few months of no folliculitis. So, alright, well, catch you guys later.